Vlad Guerrero is our next guy with the Orioles, and the Orioles have, if they're not the biggest disappointment in baseball, they're one of them. So much expected with Buck Showalter. The latest game last night, I'm sitting there watching it, and Tim Wakefield does not have the knuckler going. He gives up 2 runs. The Red Sox get 3. The Orioles come back and take the lead. They end up giving 8 runs in the 8th inning. They lose 15-10. On a night when they score 10 runs, they give up 15. I mean, that's how bad the Orioles are. But now we go back to Vlad Guerrero in the brawl game at Fenway a week or so ago when David Ortiz and Kevin Gregg were suspended, which has been reduced to 3 games. They're both out for this series right now. But we learned that when Vlad Guerrero got hit by Red Sox rookie pitcher Kyle Weiland, that he broke his hand or has a bone problem in his hand. What's the latest with Guerrero?
It's a small crack. He has been placed on the disabled list. It's retroactive to July 11th, so he could be back as soon as next Tuesday. It really depends. This guy has notoriously tough hands. I wouldn't be surprised if he's out there a little bit earlier than some people suspect. You know, he doesn't wear batting gloves. Maybe he comes out wearing something, you know, for a little bit of protection on that hand, but it doesn't sound like it's a displaced fracture. It doesn't sound like, you know, it's going to require any kind of surgery. He hadn't swung a great bat all season, you know, which has been disappointing for some people, but, you know, we kind of thought that might happen after leaving Texas. He had that monster year last year before kind of fading in the playoffs a little bit, but, you know, Guerrero's been a guy that's always swung a big stick, and some people maybe drafted him a little bit higher thinking he was going to be close to what he was in Texas, and he's let a lot of people down. I still think he's going to be healthy, you know, relatively soon, so he's not going to be on the disabled list long, but, you know, it's one more thing to kind of chalk up what's been a rough year for him.
Hey, Jeff, you mentioned, I hate to say this because I always cringe when I do, but I want your opinion about this, but you mentioned his tough hands. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's in a group with Moises Alou and Jorge Posada.
I know where you're going, Butch.
Who urinate on their hands in the off season to keep them strong so they don't get calluses and stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've ever heard Vlad tied to it, but those guys, Posada's on that list. You know, supposedly what happens is there's urea in the urine, which helps toughen up the skin. You know, it's kind of like the pickle juice thing we've heard also as well. It seems to work for some. I'm not going to be...
You're not advocating urinating on your hands to keep them strong?
And the thing that doesn't make sense to me is to do it, it would have to be like large amounts of urine, and it would have to be relatively close to when you're about to go on bat to the plate. So unless you're going to drink a lot of water, step out, and then take a leak on yourself right before you get in the batter's box, I don't really see the effectiveness of it from a science standpoint.